The Power of the Midnight Pumpkin, a Nancy and Rayden Halloween special. It was a crisp autumn evening, the kind where fallen leaves crunched underfoot and the scent of wood smoke hung in the air. Nancy, a chipmunk with an insatiable curiosity and a stripe down her back that seemed to vibrate with energy, scampered along the winding forest path. Her tiny paws moved with purpose, leading her deeper into the whispering woods. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes ahead caught her attention. Out popped Rayden, a rabbit of distinguished bearing, though slightly disheveled. He wore a flowing blue cloak that occasionally tripped him up, and a pair of perfectly perched spectacles on his nose. He clutched a magnificent gnarled carrot staff named Camden. Camden, in Rayden's paws, was more than just a staff. It was his conduit for magic, a source of both their power and an occasional mischief. "Nancy, my dear, just the chipmunk I was looking for," Rayden exclaimed, adjusting his spectacles. "Tonight is the night, Halloween, and the midnight pumpkin awaits us at the Gourd of Glee." Nancy's eyes widened. "The midnight pumpkin? You mean we're finally gonna power up Camden?" Rayden nodded vigorously, his ears nearly touching his hat. "Indeed, Camden has been feeling a bit listless lately, a little fizzle in his magical output. But the midnight pumpkin, imbued with the spirit of Halloween itself, will restore his full potential. With its power, we can bring forth the most magnificent autumn harvest the forest has ever seen." Their journey began, a whimsical trek through the twilight forest. They dodged playful sprites, hopped over slumbering hedgehogs, and marveled at the glowing eyes of nocturnal creatures. Rayden, with excitement, attempted a levitation spell on a particularly ripe berry, only to send it spinning into a spiderweb. He peered over his spectacles, a minor miscalculation. He mumbled, retrieving the sticky fruit. "Camden will be much more precise after tonight." After what felt like an eternity of scampering and hopping, they arrived at a clearing bathed in an eternal orange glow. In the center stood a colossal ancient oak tree, its branches draped with glowing gourds. This was the Gourd of Glee, a legendary meeting place for all things magical in autumn. And there, seated regally upon a throne carved from a gigantic pumpkin, was the Pumpkin King. He was a magnificent sight, his head a perfectly sculpted jack-o'-lantern, eyes glowing with an inner warmth. His crown was made of intertwined vines and autumn leaves. He held a scepter topped with a miniature glowing pumpkin. "Greetings, travelers," Pumpkin King boomed, his voice like the crackle of warm fire. "Welcome to the Gourd of Glee, on this most enchanted of nights. I assume you are here for the midnight pumpkin?" Rayden bowed deeply. "Indeed, your majesty. My trusty staff Camden requires the power of the midnight pumpkin to fulfill its destiny. We seek to infuse it with the true Halloween magic." The Pumpkin King chuckled. "A noble quest, young wizard. But the midnight pumpkin is a reservoir of wild magic. It must be approached with wisdom and respect. To claim its power, you must successfully navigate the 3 trials of the Gourd." He gestured with his scepter, and from behind his throne, a shimmering dark purple pumpkin began to rise. It pulsed with a soft internal light, the magnificent midnight pumpkin. "To learn its power," the midnight pumpkin announced, "you must demonstrate the essential qualities of a true protector of the harvest: diligence, focus, and spirit." For the first task, the Trial of Diligence, Rayden and Nancy had to gather 3 rare ingredients required to stabilize the midnight pumpkin's energy: dewdrop pearls from a hidden spiderweb, moonbeam essence from a glowing mushroom deep in the shadowy grove, and the echo of a hoots owl's laugh. Nancy, with her nimble paws, was a master at meticulously collecting the fragile dewdrop pearls without breaking the web. Rayden, with careful focus behind his spectacles, successfully used the precise, though shaky, levitation spell from his staff to retrieve the elusive moonbeam essence. The Hoots Owl's laugh proved hardest, but through patient efforts they convinced the wise old owl to share a hearty hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo, with a perfectly timed silly joke. Next was the trial of focus, the vortex of clarity. They were given tiny, glowing gourds and challenged to toss them into a swirling vortex of shimmering mist. This trial required immense concentration to counteract the magical currents pulling the gourds astray. Rayden, after several attempts where Camden sent the gourds spinning wildly, finally focused his inner being. He pushed his spectacles up, centered his breathing, and with a whispered incantation, he sent the gourds soaring straight into the center of the vortex. Nancy, showcasing her natural precision, effortlessly flicked her gourds in with surprising accuracy. Finally, they faced the trial of spirit, the enchanted pumpkin carve. They were given an uncarved pumpkin and challenged to carve a design that truly embodied the spirit of Halloween. Rayden, with Camden's help, meticulously carved an intricate, beautiful spiderweb design, symbolizing the magic of the night. Nancy, with her keen eye for detail, carved a playful, mischievous grin, completed with tiny glowing fangs, capturing the season's fun and joy. The Pumpkin King observed their combined efforts with a knowing smile. When they finished, he raised his scepter.
You have shown diligence in your gathering, focus in your aim, and spirit in your creation. You have successfully passed the 3 trials. You have earned the right to the Midnight Pumpkin.
With a grand gesture, he presented the shimmering, dark purple pumpkin to Rayden. The moment Rayden touched it, a profound wave of energy surged through his body and into Camden. The gnarled staff began to hum, glowing with an intense, vibrant orange light. Its tip pulsed with raw magical power. "Oh, Camden," Rayden cried, his eyes wide with wonder behind his spectacles. "You're magnificent! You're glowing!" Nancy watched, her heart thrumming with excitement. Camden, once a little dim, now radiated an aura of pure magic.
With this power,
The Pumpkin King announced,
Camden will be able to bring forth the most beautiful bounty, to protect the forest from any creepy shadows, and to ensure the spirit of autumn flourishes for seasons to come.
Rayden, filled with a renewed vigor, raised Camden high. A stream of golden light shot from the staff, arcing into the sky and illuminating the entire Gourd of Glee. The forest creatures cheered, their voices echoing through the night. Their quest complete, Nancy and Rayden bid farewell to the Pumpkin King, promising to return next Halloween. As they walked back through the now illuminated forest, Camden pulsed warmly in Rayden's hand. He felt the magic humming through his very core. "Thank you, Nancy," Rayden said, his voice filled with genuine gratitude, his blue cloak billowing slightly in the breeze. "We did it. Camden is more powerful than ever." Nancy beamed, her stripes practically shimmering. "It was an amazing adventure, Rayden, and now I think Camden is ready for some serious autumn magic." They returned to their cozy homes, the midnight pumpkin's magic still lingering in the air, promising a season of unparalleled bounty and wonder. And as the first rays of morning light touched the forest, Nancy and Rayden knew, with absolute certainty, that this Halloween would be remembered as the night Camden truly came to life.
We hope you enjoyed the story, and if you did, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to watch our other Halloween stories, including The Glowing Mummy, Finley Frankenstein, Gabriel and the Grumpy Gargoyle, and The Legend of the Midnight Pumpkin. Adventure awaits.